about another actor putting on an accent, and that would be Frank Underwood. I mean Kevin Spacey, who did an interview with Tucker Carlson, did he not?
That was weird.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey decided to do an interview with Tucker
2024
Carlson.
has not even begun.
Go.
As it was like a Christmas Eve special, and this is something that Kevin Spacey does every year. He makes a video.
Has he been doing them in recent years as well?
I think he's missed a couple.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah,
this is like a tradition for him, but this year he decided to do it with Tucker Carlson. This is a 7-minute interview that was all planned and scripted, seemingly. And it was just the weirdest thing ever. And so many people watched it and were trying to decode the secret meanings and everything. Some people thought that it was AI generated and that Kevin Spacey wasn't even there.
I wonder if it wasn't scripted as much as he gave Kevin Spacey the questions ahead of time, and Kevin Spacey just planned his answers as the Frank Underwood character.
Yeah, and Tucker was hardly able to keep a straight face.
It was hilarious watching like Tucker Carlson be like, because Kevin, like my point was when I was watching this is you can tell that Kevin Spacey is a very trained actor, and Tucker Carlson is just an interviewer playing an interviewer. It's also, he's wearing acid. I just want to point out, Tucker Carlson is wearing like some acid wash jeans.
I didn't notice that when you pointed it out.
I was like, bro, he's went all drip for this.
So they titled this a Christmas Eve election surprise, and I guess the joke is that Kevin Spacey, as his House of Cards character, is considering running for president in 2024. So let's just take a look at it,
at least a bit of
briefly.
Yet, and it does seem like the presidential race is effectively frozen in place, if not over. We know who the candidates are. It's too late for another to get in. Some have already dropped out. But is it too late? Is there anyone in this country of 350 million people who could jump in at this late date and re-scramble the calculus of electoral politics? Well, there may be someone, and in fact, you already know him. You know his face. And the question is, will he get in this cycle? And that's my question for you.
Well, that's really a decision for the people, Tucker. It's not something that I really think about or want to do. And Merry Christmas to you, too. But I've always believed that nothing should be off the table in life or in art. I think we could both agree that we need to get some adults back in the room. So if that means taking on the chief executive role, well, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for this great nation.
Adults in the room. I love it. I could see it as a bumper sticker. Is that your campaign slogan?
Well, that's not a bad idea. Look, I think first our country needs to stop apologizing and stiffen up. I mean, look, we got so many people running around with so many different issues like gun control, important issue. But let's be honest. The truth is, more people are killed by online trolls every day.
That may be true, actually, but then they're protected by the First Amendment.
He's so creepy.
They can say whatever they want. You believe in the First Amendment, I assume.
Of course I do. Look, people spewing ridiculous ideas is nothing new, and they should always have that right. But the problem is, somewhere along the way, we started listening. And we should remember the salient words of Benjamin Franklin, who said, "Do not believe anything of what you hear and only half of what you see." And he wasn't telling people to stop talking. He was telling us to stop listening. So let's stop blaming bots and college kids and start telling leaders what leadership really means.
Look, in the wide shot, it looks fake. Like
it looks. You think this is a deep fake?
In the wide shot, it doesn't like. It doesn't match. Like I can't. Like maybe it's just maybe I'm losing my brain here.
It's possible that it's green screened because
half of what you see. And he wasn't
you got
telling
a
people to stop.
$20 super chat from Splug the Goblin. He said Guard Bro is the author of the Emily Bronze books and the Veil Riders books and the creator of the Veil Riders TTRPG, also on YouTube. Okay. Never heard of it.
So yeah, so this interview, like if you guys don't know, Kevin Spacey has like a lot of allegations, and he's to fair, he has been acquitted of most of those of all of those allegations, both in the UK and here at home. But also, a lot of people keep dying before it can go to trial, which is, if to be fair, very House of Cards to have a bunch of people die before you go to trial.
Yeah, the iconic one is on Christmas Eve 2019. he released his video and titled it "Kill Them with Kindness." And literally the next day, one of his accusers died of an apparent suicide. And before that ever happened, he was acquitted of the Anthony Rapp accusation, who said that he made advances on him when he was 14. After that, another one named Linda Culkin, who was also deemed a stalker of Spacy's. She died by getting hit by a car in March 2019. No driver was charged for the incident. And then in September 2019, another accuser died who remained anonymous, and that was from an ongoing cancer. And the Christmas Day death of his third accuser, Ari Ben, that was the apparent suicide after he made that creepy video talking about killing them with kindness. So he is really method acting as Frank Underwood, I guess.
Apparently.
And also another question here is like, what did Tucker intend with this video? Who was it for?
Yeah.
And I saw this tweet from Disgraced Propagandist interpreting it, saying, "Seems to me like Tucker's primary audience is not the right, not the public, but the regime and the specific elites who smited him after he got booted from Fox, I'm assuming. Everything he does seems like a 4D chess FU to them. This group is terrified by Kevin Spacy for the same reason they were always terrified of Epstein. He was involved in very dark sex stuff with very elite people and knows way too much. They tried to get rid of him but weren't completely able to. Spacy's strange video from a few years ago, Kill Them with Kindness, also in character as Frank Underwood, seemed to threaten the regime with naming names."
I also want to point out, just as an aside, I was looking through Kevin Spacey's IMDb, his trivia section, which reads like a sociopath's guide. So let's go through some of these that are just listed. These are like the first things listed as like interesting factoids about Kevin Spacey. Was expelled from Northridge Military Academy for throwing a tire at a classmate.
Normal.
Totally normal. Burned his sister's treehouse down when they were children. This caused his parents to send him to military school, which he promptly left for a regular high school. Perfectly normal for him to do things like that. It's just like all those things. Just like imagine a childhood of violence. And was there bedwetting? I don't know. But what was it called? Like the homicidal triad. You don't want to have all of those things, and you end up with narcissistic personality disorder, and you're a psychopath or a sociopath.
Was Kevin Spacey born a sociopath or made one?
He was made that way.
He was also supposedly supposed to play President Whitmore in Independence Day, and I'm so glad he didn't, because I can't imagine that amazing speech about how great, on Independence Day from the movie from Bill Pullman wouldn't have had the same ring with creepy Kevin Spacey giving that speech. It wouldn't have worked.
Another thing that people pointed out from this video is that throw pillow that is in between Kevin Spacey and Tucker Carlson on the couch. Mm-hmm. And it has this print on it in a square. And it looks exactly like the pattern that was on the building on Little St. James Island. It's very interesting timing with like the Epstein court documents coming out today. Certain people that we expected to be named weren't named. It does feel like this was made for an in-group, and it has a lot of inside jokes or references that the public wasn't meant to understand. And I just don't know who Tucker is pandering to anymore.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I'm not sure who this is for.
Well, if you watch the whole thing, at the end, he references the fact that he says, I probably watch Netflix as much as you watch Fox News, because he was, after all the allegations came out, he was fired from Netflix. Mm-hmm. What's funny about this is like a lot of people won't understand, like House of Cards was one of the first great streaming series that really put Netflix on the map. You couldn't open Netflix without looking at a picture of Kevin Spacey from that show. And when he was fired, suddenly all the pictures that advertised House of Cards were either of Robin Wright or generic new DC monuments. And he was fired and unpersoned, and most people believe that that's what's funny about it. Like, I don't know if this dude's guilty. I'll tell you what doesn't happen is, like, I still watch I can still watch Seven. I can still watch The Usual Suspects because I expect there to be scumbags in Hollywood at all times. So it doesn't affect my ability to watch movies, right? I can still watch these things. But he is drawing parallels between what happened to him on Netflix to how Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox. And, to be fair, Tucker Carlson seems to be fine with that comparison.
But Tucker wasn't fired from Fox based on any allegations against him coming out.
But that's what's weird is he was okay with that comparison, even though the reasons that they were fired are vastly different. There's a $20 one here from Jay Jorgensen. I thought it was Joe Jorgensen. We had the she was like the head of or she was the libertarian candidate.
Yes,
right?
she was.
Or maybe it's JoJo from Jers. Love Kevin's movies, but after his allegations came up, it seems he lost his mind and was almost a mental break. Much like Michael Jackson on stage, great music, allegations, interview crazy. Will Smith is going the same way. Well, we'll be getting into that a little bit later.
Will Smith is going the same way. How so?
The slap.
I guess.
Well, some people responded to this and they were like, Tucker is talking to someone. That means they're based and we like them now. Like, Ian Miles Chong replied to this and said, Kevin Spacey did nothing wrong.
Ugh.
You can't be serious, right?
We can't know. Well, here's the thing. This is the problem with all these allegations. I don't freaking know. I know that Hollywood's full of scumbags.
I have no take.
I know the timing is super suspicious.
I really, really don't have a take.
Do
I can't
you like
say
him as
that
an
I
actor?
know anything more than anyone else, you know?
like him?
Yeah, I mean, he's all right as an actor.
Yeah.
There's been some good movies that I've seen with him in it, but, like, it's not going to be, like, enough to be like, oh, well, you know, it's fine.
Well, he said Tucker is threatening the regime by collabing with Spacy. Spacy is more or less revealing that they literally tried to kill him, and the pair is suggesting that they're ready to fight back by any means necessary.
What does that even mean?
Well, you said that he made a reference to House of Cards where he said, we need a leader who's willing to push the nation or a journalist in the right direction by any means necessary.
If you guys don't know, spoiler alert, skip ahead 15 to 20 seconds if you haven't watched House of Cards. At the end of season 1, after him and Kate Mara have an affair and he uses Kate Mara's character to leak secrets about his enemies, he promptly disposes of the journalist by pushing her into an oncoming train.
So I guess that's essentially what they're talking about.
Yeah.
We need a leader who isn't afraid to push a journalist in the right direction is a subtle reference, not so subtle reference to his character pushing that journalist in front of a train.
It's it all seems like a weird, incomprehensible troll.
Super ominous.
Yeah.
It didn't leave me with a good feeling on Christmas Eve.
The accent, however, is amazing. His accent is fantastic.
You said he's from New York?
New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay.
The accent is fantastic. So, yes. All right.
It's just I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes you get something you don't know what to make of it. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.